And now for a taste of things to come.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen, for what is, while a special edition of the Shenanigans, unfortunately, kind of a somber one, as this is going to cover all the happenings of the Syko, Stu, and Raja Jackson incident. I actually am allowed to share a lot of information from two very reliable sources, no pun intended. And I will not be naming them, but they are very close to the situation. One closer than I thought he was to said situation. So take that for what you will. This is actually some breaking news on some of this stuff. Other stuff is rehash, and it's a full timeline of events of what you haven't understood. This is your one-stop shop to understand this entire situation. I'm your host for this topic, for this video, I guess you could say, the Heb Man, James Hebert, joined as always by my trusty cohorts in the Shenanigans family and the Watch Along crew that you just saw the trailer for. First, the host extraordinaire, typically for Saturday Shenanigans, and the WWE play-by-play man extraordinaire as of late, or sometimes color, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. You are muted. Shit happens.
What is going on? Sorry, I was on a different screen because I'm promoting this. So
yeah, fair dues. Thank you very much for joining us, good sir, for what is going to be a crazy show. Joining us also, not just the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, but Mr. Reliable of Simply Reliable Studios, the man we are trying to get to 200 subscribers. He is Walter Alex Cruz. How you doing, good sir?
Doing okay. You know, it's nice to be with you guys on a different day, but if I'm being honest, I wish we wouldn't have to talk about this because it shouldn't happen.
100%. That's exactly how I feel, brother. Like it's such a goddamn shame that this even has to be addressed by anybody in the community. Not forget us. Like just the fact that we have to sit here on the day before Memorial Day,
Labor Day.
Shit, I'm sorry, Labor Day. I got
Memorial Day is in May.
Here, you know what? Just this is probably the only fucking comedic timing you're ever gonna get, honest to God, because this is not gonna be a fun topic.
No, I understand.
The day before Labor Day, we're out with our families, out doing stuff, and we have to sit here and talk about this crap because it's too important not to address on all of our shows. It's that bad of a situation. And I think we'd be doing a disservice especially knowing what we know now officially, to not share the chronological events that led up to this point. So that way we can learn a lesson, God willing, and hopefully this is a way to never let something like this happen again. And that's all you can really hope for in these situations when you have to cover a topic like this. It's not that we want to, but it is because we have to. Quite literally what Walter said at the top of this. So, I'm just going to be candid with y'all. There's only one thing of notes that I have gotten because they're the only things of notes that matter. Everything else I have from direct source, and I'm going to paraphrase because I'm not trying to leak any conversation. I'm not trying to expose anything outside of what I should be talking about here. It's just going to be like that because I feel like that's the best way to describe this in the chronological order. So, you would all think, to kind of start this off, that it would start with Roger Jackson. And in a vacuum, most people would be correct. However, that is not the full story. The full story actually goes back to when AJ Mana, who was one of the people that actually encouraged Roger Jackson, which we will get to in a minute. By the way, JJ, I'm hearing a lot of talking. It's just no worries with you. It's just I want to make sure I get this right because I spent a lot of time thinking about this and speaking from their heart on it. Thank you very much, good sir. So yeah, man, like AJ Mana was living with Syko Stuart Smith. So for those who don't even know that aspect of it, he was living with him because prior to this, AJ Mana got himself kicked out the first fucking time for doing some stupid fuck shit like this. Unnecessary hazing, unnecessary bullshit. This is why he got kicked out in the first place for something similar to this. So, Stu didn't know the full story. He tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. He let him live on his ranch. Then he tried to get him back into Nox Pro. Fatu, I believe. What's I always forget the wrestler's name, and I'm sorry I keep doing this. Can somebody remind me of the Fatu's name that goes by something Wolf? Because I forget.
I'm not sure off the top.
Yeah, he's one of the co-promoters of this promotion along with Rikishi. So that guy let him back in. Nobody in the locker room was okay with it, but Stu wanted to give him a chance. Because he's a good dude and he wanted to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, and he's kind of got the syndrome that I do. He sees the best in the worst people sometimes, is essentially what happened there. So AJ Mana gets another chance. Syko Stu, then after a month, from what I've been told, and this is all stuff you're going to hear from certain people anyway, so I'm not talking out of school here. Eventually, it just got to the point where not only did he piss off everybody else that didn't like him already to begin with, but it turns out Syko Stu then goes, man, this guy just doesn't fucking get it. And one of the reasons why that happens is because this dude blows up a kid because he's trying to get his shit over and doesn't give a fuck all about how much this kid doesn't know. Because, you know, this kid is not even close to his skill set. And according to what I've been told, we don't even know if he has that skill set to do some of the advanced shit he was trying to do with this kid. And the match ended up being terrible. So Stu got pissed at him with that. They had heat since, and it's been crazy ever since. So let it be known that prior to this incident, there was a lot of bad blood between AJ Mana and Syko Stu. The bullshit that this cowboy, scrawny leg looking fuck is trying to pass off, bullshit. That's an outright lie. And there's been 2 people that I've talked to that have backed this fact up. Point blank, period. Let's squash that right real fucking quick. Okay? So, fast forward to the AJ Mana stuff. Thank you very much. I forgot to do the solo shot. Fast forward to AJ Mana. Or not AJ Mana, to Roger Jackson. On the Saturday prior to that Sunday, which would be Forbidden Door Sunday, he suffers a concussion doing sparring. He's sparring with somebody. I don't know who, but you could tell he gets concussed. You could tell he's knocked for a loop. You could tell he's not all there. He was supposed to go to a golf event, I believe, this very day, but ended up not going, but was invited to go to this wrestling show at Knox Pro and meet the wrestlers. AJ Mana has been buddy and a training partner of Raja Jackson, the son of Rampage Jackson, for those who are unaware and uninformed. And we will be getting to him later. He was concussed here. That does not excuse how far Raja Jackson ended up going. Just FYI. Right? But I do think that if you don't put that into perspective, you're not doing this any justice. And if we're being real about it, this is probably going to be the only thing that saves Raja's ass from going to jail for attempted murder for 50 fucking years, and they're probably going to reduce the sentence to 10 if he goes to fucking trial for this. And I don't think that's incorrect to say at all. So I figured that was a key bit of crucial information before we get to the day from hell. Forbidden Door Sunday. Raja gets invited by AJ to the back. He starts chatting it up with the wrestlers. You can tell this kid is green as goose shit, has no idea about the hardcore terminology in the slightest. In the slightest. Has no fucking clue. From the first 3 seconds he speaks, you can tell, hey, you know what? No idea. No idea about any of the hardcore terminology. This dude is as casual can be as far as wrestling fans go. And that's not a knock on him. That's just the truth. The way he's talking, the way he's discussing the wrestlers, the way he wants to meet the wrestlers, he is a mark. He is the typical mark. Again, not a bad thing. I'm a mark. He's a mark. Walter's a mark. We're all marks, right? It's not a derogatory term. It's just a fact. We are smart to the business is the difference. Raja is not. Like, very much fact. Then Syko Stu comes in. Syko Stu sees a camera. Knox Pro's whole thing is if you see a camera rolling, you're in kayfabe mode. So Syko Stu, not understanding that this kid was a streamer, not a trained wrestler, and was the son of Quentin Rampage Jackson that was invited by AJ Massa, right? Comes in, and he goes, you know, whatever that guy you're talking about, you don't need to worry about him. You need to worry about Syko Stu. Roger replies, Syko Stu? He's like, you're telling me you never heard of me? Raja replies, hell nah. Syko Stu, because he's thinking this is a worked angle at this point in time, grabs a beer can, has his thumb. I'll use my Mountain Dew bottle as an example. He has his thumb right over the can. Okay. He's got his hand like this, and he cracks him. Not full force, mind you. His thumb barely is going to graze his head. Now, mind you, he did not know he had a concussion because nobody fucking told him. Especially, chief among them, AJ Massa. But alas, he hits him with a worked can shot. Raja gets fucking heated. The promoter, the wrestlers at that point then smarten up Syko Stu that he is not a worker. Syko Stu then is very apologetic right as soon as he understands what's up, tries to extend his hand. Raja refuses at first. He's pissed. Stu kind of goes off, let him cool off. I think he goes out of frame for a second, and that's when the Fatu that isn't Rikishi goes and says, hey, maybe we can make an angle out of this. Maybe we can have something go right. Maybe we can make some business out of this. Carney bullshit in wrestling. Carney gonna Carney. Raja, thinking that may have been a green light, was like, oh, yeah. If you can make that happen, I'm down. I'm down. Still visibly pissed. You could see it in his face. This isn't the same happy-go-lucky dude that came into that arena that was, jovial, wanting to meet the wrestlers and shit, right? But then, Syko Stu comes back. Syko Stu extends his hand again. Raja shakes it. Syko Stu, as he shakes it, apologizes to him. Raja said, no, man, it's all good. It's all good. Then Syko Stu, after they talked about the angle and with Fatu that isn't Rikishi, he goes and says he's going to slam you. He's going to double leg takedown you. So Syko Stu is like, yeah, let's do it. He goes and sits down and he goes to Raja again. And he's like, look, man, I apologize here. And they shake hands a second time. So that's 3 apologies by Stu, by the way. I just want to keep this in track. And 2 handshakes. This is going to be important for what I'm about to explain for later. Syko Stu says, man, I didn't know, man. I thought you were a worker. I apologize. The camera's on. I didn't know. And Raja says, no, it's okay, man. I get it. So at that point, everybody thinks the situation is diffused. All except 2 fucking people at this point. AJ Massa and Raja Jackson. At one point, Fatu, that isn't Rikishi, says, hey, man, I know you think we're working. We're always working. You know what I mean? And he kind of explains that to Raja, and then they go into the back. Him and AJ, Massa, and Raja Jackson go into the back. Raja Jackson looks into Raja's eyes. You can tell he's pissed at this point still. He's kind of still stewing, or at the very least uncomfortable about what happened. At the least. And AJ Massa says, dude, him hitting you in the head with a can, that was bullshit. So that's not cool. So whatever you do, I want you to go out there and I want you to tag his shit. You got to give him his receipt. You know what a receipt is. Fucking tag his shit. Make sure you hit him. Tag him for real. And if they have a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there. Tag his shit, bro. This is what AJ Massa says to Raja Jackson. Setting the scene for later. He goes and sits in the front row. Later, he's going to do this angle. The chat's hyping him up and calling him a bitch. And he's like, I ain't no bitch. I ain't no bitch. It's already plotting and stewing over what happened earlier with Syko Stu, with Stuart Smith. Mind you, they have already worked out their situation. I'm going to read something here. And I'm not going to show it on screen, but this is AI overview. JJ has seen it. Noah has seen it. They know what I'm talking about. This is what this is in reference to. This is the California state law when a situation that begins physical is diffused with a handshake. I think it's very key that we read this because I want people to understand how this is totally in the favor of Syko Stu with this entire situation for what I'm about to explain. Let me get that up here and bingo. In California, ending a physical altercation with a handshake does not automatically nullify any potential criminal charges or civil liabilities for assault and battery. While the gesture might show reconciliation, the original illegal acts, the physical fight itself, have already occurred. A handshake at the end of the fight does not function as a legal waiver. Now, mind you, there's a caveat to this, and there is catches to this. They say the mutual combat defense, a physical altercation ending in a handshake, could involve the concept of mutual combat. Recognized defense. While there is no specific law for it, mutual combat is a recognized legal principle in California that can be used for any defense against assault and battery charges. The key conditions for this to even take place as a defense. Key conditions are: to be a valid defense, both parties must have willingly and knowingly agreed to engage in a physical fight, and neither person should have intended to cause serious injury. There's a few other aspects to this, but the second bit of this is crazy. And I want everybody to pay attention to this one, because this caught my attention too. Limited protection. The defense does not apply if one person uses excessive force or escalates the fight beyond the scope of original agreement. A handshake does not automatically prove mutual combat, but could be used by a defense attorney to argue that both parties engaged consensually. That right there, those two exceptions to the rule, shows that handshake is legally binding. So if Roger Jackson and Rampage Jackson even try as to spin this and try to get Syko Stu the money back that they lost and try to countersue him after all is said and done, that is not going to go over well, because this will be the defense, I almost guarantee you. And with everything that happens after the point he goes and sits in the front row, it is fucking clear as day that Syko Stu had no fucking clue what was about to happen, and that it was one party that was looking for a fight and the other one was not at that point. This is such an anomaly. It is clear, cut, and fucking dry. It's unbelievable. And it's all streamed to 700 people and beyond. So he keeps confessing about the crimes he's about to commit. I'm going to fucking hit him for real. I'm telling you. I'm going to fucking hit him for real. I'm telling you. You've all seen those clips. It's fucking disgusting. Rampage Jackson. This is where his father gets involved. And then calls his son a bitch. I hear you got bitched out by a grown man in tights. He's like, man, shut the fuck up. He's like, man, hey, listen, I hear that you had sexual fantasies with those boys, man. Antagonizing his son further. Now, mind you, I'm not calling Rampage an antagonistic person, because at the end of the day, I think he meant this as a fucking joke, and I want to make that evidently clear. I want to make that clear. But at this point, this kid was not in his right mind. He has a fucking concussion, and he's fucking out of his mind as it is without the goddamn concussion, clearly. So he takes this as motivation. He's like, oh, watch. This dude can never not call me a bitch. I'm going to show him how much of a bitch I am. Hey, y'all want to see? I'm going to show you how real this crash out is. I'm going to show you, uses it as motivation. Walter, you have your hand up, and then I'll continue.
They have like a weird relationship, but yeah, he does kind of antagonize him. Just so you know, he calls him a bitch just for being vegan. Like, seriously.
Okay, so
yeah, it's like a
as
thing
much as I
does.
Unfortunately, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt in some regard, but considering this is coming from a father, fuck Rampage Jackson too. He won't get legally charged, mind you, but still, fuck Rampage Jackson. It's not illegal what he did, but fuck Rampage Jackson. Anyway, not the point. We're still on Raja. Then the assault happens. He slides under the bottom rope. He goes under the ring. Hits the grossest shoot spine buster I have ever seen in my life, which Syko Stu set him up to do, not realizing what he was about to do. And by the way, Raja sucks as a fucking fighter, and Walter knows what I'm about to talk about, because if you actually saw how this dude was actually doing a double leg, it was the shittiest double leg I've seen in my life. Douglas Marlowe says it on an interview that he did. Work a better fucking double leg, you prick. So Syko Stu sets him up for this fucking shoot spine buster. He hits, and bam! Head ricochets off the fucking mat. He's knocked out then. He's knocked out then. That could have been the receipt. Even in a wrestling context, if we want to go the wrestling bubble route with it, okay? But then the first punch, while he is unconscious, happens. And then the second, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then the fifth, and then the sixth, until there's 22 unanswered punches to the head of a former Army veteran who has PTSD serving in the fucking war, who came into this fucking business because he wanted to escape from his fucking trauma. He assaults this man because he got a little beer spilt on him and let fucking tweens on a fucking Kick live chat and his deranged fucking father psych him up because he's a grown folk who don't know how to act like a grown folk. He assaulted a defenseless man. There is no defense for this piece of shit for doing what he did. I have a father who served in the fucking army as a medic. That's chief among the things in my life. I have been a streamer since 2008 in March. It's been 17 and a half years. I have been a fan of professional wrestling since I was 2 years old, even in a casual sense, and I have been a fan of mixed martial arts for half that fucking lifespan. Man, this was like the concoction of all these worlds coming together in the most nightmarish way possible, and it made me fucking sick to my stomach. The first person after the 22nd punch lands to his fucking jaw is a 17-year-old minor. A minor tried to break it up. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing because he's never been able to break up a fight in his life, probably. So he's thinking go under the arms, when in reality, in an actual fight, and what bouncer techniques actually are, and I know this because people that I know were bouncers, you're actually supposed to go under the arms, for real. That's for shoot, to pull somebody off. So he didn't know that. So he's scared to death, but he tried. And big up to that fucking kid who tried, because he's got more balls than most of those people in there. Especially the wrestlers, most of them. Then Douglas Marlowe, who was being held by fucking wrestlers that just wanted that fucking paycheck for his entrance music to fucking hit, which, by the way, was cued late. And they still held him back until it was time for him to go because the music, there's a certain beat drop that he needs to come out. He then sees this shit going on. He sees this kid in the ring. And so he rushes in, tackles Raja, and brings him to the ground. Then more wrestlers come in because he's trying to double leg Douglas Marlowe now, Raja Jackson. Everybody comes in and pushes him into the corner. I think it takes literally 6 wrestlers to hold him back into the fucking corner. Meanwhile, Syko Stu is laid out there in the middle of the fucking ring, right? He's got broken facial fractures, probably a broken orbital bone at this point, a fucked up eardrum, chipped teeth, broken teeth, and it's fucking lodged into his throat, and he can't breathe because he got knocked out because he got a concussion from a shoot spine buster, and he can't fucking breathe. So what does this referee do while he's waving and flapping his fucking arms like a dope? and this other wrestler that was in the match that was against him as his opponent decide to do? They go for a fucking pin. They go for a pin. The match should have been over when Raja came in. That's a DQ finish. But no, we have to go for a pin. We got to give a finish, brother. They finally calm Raja down. Raja goes out. Raja goes through the fucking halls, the main entranceway. Mike finally comes back on after he fucking assaults this army veteran who gave up his body to do fucking business with him. For what business this fucking promotion thought they were going to do, I have no fucking clue. But he was doing business nonetheless. And he goes, I'm tired of everybody playing with me, bruh. I'm going to stand up for my fucking self because I'm tired of everybody playing with me. I ain't no bitch. Brother, what you did was the biggest bitch move on God's green earth. You don't want to be called a bitch, but you pulled the biggest coward move in the history of combat sports. And that's saying a lot. There's a guy who comes out. He's in blue face paint. We'll get to him after the fact later, after we get the initial thoughts of the fucking assault. But then he goes to the back and he gets back into his car with that fucking idiot that was filming the whole crime scene, by the way. That's an accomplice to attempted murder, or at the very least, fucking assault. He's probably going to see at least fucking 3 months in jail, maximum. Goes into the car. And they're like, it's just a wrestling angle, bro. It's just a wrestling angle, bro. Calm down. Oh, gee, you couldn't have said that like fucking 15 minutes ago before he attacked a fucking defenseless veteran who was giving his body up for him to fucking work? They go to a 7-Eleven parking lot. Then AJ Massa calls him on the phone, or what I believe is to be AJ Massa. He says, yo, you went too far. Raja says, dude, that shit he did piss me off, bro. AJ then goes, I understand that, but you went too far. He has broken fucking teeth. He's bleeding from the mouth, and they're saying he flatlined in the ring. Raja Jackson's response to this was, my fault. My fault. He keeps lecturing him over the phone like he gives a fuck now when he didn't give a fuck about Stu in the first place, by the way. AJ Massa did not give a fuck about this dude's safety at all, right? And then Raja hangs up on AJ Massa and says, let me call you back. Not too long after that happens, the Kick stream gets banned. Kick rightfully takes away his advertising revenue. And the floodgates open for the streaming world, the YouTube content creator world, the MMA world, and the professional wrestling world to converge onto this fucking story of absolute deplorable, carny bullshit that literally almost ended a dude's life. A veteran, no less. Great fucking job, Nox Pro. You deserve to lose your ID fucking sponsorship, you imbeciles. And to Raja Jackson, you are no fucking saint in this. You are the biggest fucking culprit. Everybody else is in a civil fucking dispute. You are in a criminal fucking dispute. And you are a fucking absolute unhinged lunatic, and you deserve to be behind bars. And then you deserve to get some fucking therapy in a fucking mental asylum somewhere after it's all said and done. Case dismissed. Thoughts?
Walter?
Kind of hard to follow that shit.
Can you tell I'm pissed about this?
Yeah, I can. In general, feelings is Roger shouldn't have been nowhere near the ring. He shouldn't have been invited in the first place. You want to go hang out with some friends, or you get invited, you don't get involved in angles. And I mean, it leads back to because it's gonna drizzle down to all everything because people are gonna start second guessing celebrity involvement. So you got Jelly Roll, WWE, and all this other stuff, and that's one thing too. Like how uneducated could you be? Like, wasn't your father involved in TNA? He knows some wrestling angle. He knows some wrestling terms. He was involved in it. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't have taught him some stuff. Yo, this happens. They're just gonna mess with you. It's just part
Yeah.
of growing up in the business. It's part.
Yeah.
It's part of it. Don't let your anger get the best of you. You could have warned him.
I mean, what can we really expect, Walter, from a dude who, just without consent humps a fucking interview lady with no goddamn prior consequences? I mean, really, he thinks he's the hot shit. He can get away with anything, right? Let it be known, folks, celebrity parents, I hate to tell you, can be the fucking worst sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna be in legal trouble, Rampage, but you ain't no saint in this either, bitch. You're worse than John Jones. At least John Jones actually did the fucking right thing on the street. That's more than I could say about you, fucking prick.
Yeah, he antagonizes his own son, calls him bitch for being vegan. He does a lot of stuff. Like I know Quentin.
I'm glad you said it because you're actually a father and I don't have to because I'm not a dad. I don't think I have any room to talk. So the fact that you said that confirmed what I already thought. Thank you. Because my dad raised me right. My dad raised my kids right to the best of his fucking ability. He didn't do any of this shit that Rampage is doing. I'll tell you that right now for a fucking fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what it all boils down to is a crime was committed and he needs to pay like something that I don't want to see, celebrity kids get away with a lot of shit. Probation or this, that, and no jail time. He needs to be behind bars. Like you literally almost killed somebody. Like we pretty much witnessed on stream, on TV, literal attempted murder.
Attempted murder.
Like that's the definition of it. Like this dude had no hands up, he had no protection. He was concussed and laid out from the tackle alone. Then you proceed to hit him 22 damn more times? That's ridiculous.
At the very least, he's gonna get, and I think it's because of the concussion he received the day before, at the very least, and by the way, if I'm you, Raja, I'd kiss the fucking ass of that dude that gave you the concussion. Because without that, you'd be in the jail for 50 years.
Receiving a concussion, then is even more. You shouldn't have been nowhere near anything. You had a concussion.
Agree.
If somebody invited you, you shouldn't have showed up. You should have been like, dude, I got concussed last night. I'm not coming.
I want to make it clear. I think if this goes to the trials, which God knows how well this is going to go in our justice system, but if he does get charged, it's going to be at least, in my opinion, assault with a deadly weapons charge. Because when you train in MMA, Walter, you know this, your hands, your body is considered a lethal weapon.
Some states by law, legally, if you become a professional boxer or MMA, I don't know if it's every state, but in some states you legally are obligated to register your hands as lethal weapons.
Exactly. That's just a rule in MMA, period. I don't know the law in Cali, but I'd harbor to think that isn't going to be the case. At best, he's going to get an assault with a deadly weapon charge. That's what he's going to get, probably. Which is going to send a maximum 10, I think like 5 for good behavior, I think half the time. Like, he better kiss that motherfucker's ass that gave him that concussion. I'm telling you. Yeah. Because had that concussion not happened, we'd be having a whole different story. If Syko Stu didn't fucking kick out of death, we'd be having a whole different conversation right now, if we're being honest.
Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, because it would have went to murder too, at least. At the very least, murder too. But yeah, I'm just hoping this gets, whatever happens quickly so we can stop having to talk about it, to be honest.
Yeah, seriously. He should have been fucking incarcerated and questioned weeks ago, days ago. Since this has all happened, and this is just kind of excess shit and aftermath shit, not only has Roger Jackson lost his Kick streaming deal, but Rampage Jackson, for being a shithead father, also lost his Kick streaming deal. He's still allowed to stream on Kick because he did not commit the crime per se, but he is no longer under a deal with Kick. So he's just streaming for the sake of streaming, I guess, because he probably gets more money than his fucking kid just off donos alone, because people don't know him any better. It is what it is. So they both lost their partnerships. Syko Stu was initially unresponsive and was literally on an IV and shit. Like, it was bad. He kicked out recently. He's fine now. He is home for Memorial Day weekend. Labor Day weekend. Botch, there it is again. He is there for Labor Day weekend. Thank God he at least didn't miss that, because that's an American holiday. It would suck if a veteran got to miss the day after serving his country, you know? And yeah, man, like, he's good. Shout out Douglas Marlowe and his Predator Catchers partner that was on that podcast that explained his scenario and his side of the situation. I'm going to actually look that up right now. Douglas Marlowe. I just want to make sure I know which one it is. Scaling Up Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. That is the name of this podcast. So definitely go check them out. Also, shout out the Masters of Wrestling. Here's a fucking name that I didn't even know had a damn podcast. Douglas Marlowe talks about the Roger Jackson incident, and it was the Masters of Wrestling. The host of this show, one of the hosts, is Kazarni. He was one of the witnesses of this night, for those who remember that name. Shout out him for testifying against this bullshit. Shout out the MMA fighter that trains with Douglas Marlowe for talking about this bullshit on the Scaling Up podcast. And shout out Douglas Marlowe himself, along with the 17-year-old kid, for trying to pull Roger Jackson off of Syko Stu before he really did kill the man. This needs to be a fucking lesson, and I don't care how big or small of a goddamn company you are. Vet your fucking celebrities, vet your fucking talent, period. Because God fucking damn, I swear to God, it's like for every 2 steps forward we go in the wrestling industry, it's like we go 10 steps back with bullshit like this. I don't think you understand how embarrassing this makes us look as a wrestling fandom, how embarrassing this makes us look as streamers, how embarrassing this makes us look as an MMA community, how embarrassing this makes us look, quite honestly, as a fucking country if we fail this fucking guy. There is no fucking excuse for the bullshit that happened there. AJ Massa went on a podcast, and I don't care to give them clout. Fuck them. He went on a podcast, and he gets pissed and calls us idiots and stupid because we think he meant he gave Raja the okay to assault Syko Stu in the middle of the ring like he did. He's like, I only said one punch. I only said one punch. Hey, let me get solo shot again. Real quick. There it is. That's a solo shot. No, that's it. There we go. Cool. Hey, AJ Massa, you fucking dweeb. We know you only meant one shot. Nobody ever disputed that you only meant one shot. Not one person in their right mind ever said you didn't mean one shot. You are failing to understand the wrath you have brought upon yourself when you even suggested to an untrained pro wrestler who is trained in mixed martial arts, who had a concussion the day before, you know what a receipt is. And assuming he knows the lingo. What if you listen to him speak to the wrestlers when he was happy and jovial for over 3 minutes before the Syko Stu incident happened between him in the backstage? He knows fuck all about the lingo. He is casual fan at best, and there's nothing wrong with that. But no way should he have even been in the back, and no way should you have ever booked him in a fucking angle. Ever. And you going on that podcast and saying you only met one punch does not absolve you from the negligence and downright buffoonery you have committed. You, if nothing else, are a criminal jackass. So, there's my final thoughts on the other culprit in this fucking matter. The Fatu that isn't Rikishi was the one who caused all this. Rikishi wasn't even in town. I want to make it very clear that I think, even though he's probably going to get a lot of the flack for this since he is also tied to the promotion, please keep nuance in mind for this, especially after what Doug Malo said. Rikishi is a sweetheart as a trainer. He would never let something like this happen if he was there. Not in a million years has anything like this happened. That has been the only consistent thing that has been confirmed by Dickhead AJ Massa, Douglas Marlowe, his MMA training buddy, and the promotion itself. That seems to be the constant thing. Last thing I want to point out, though, and this is where some of this respect goes out the window, and I'm not sure whose call this was, but they're now telling people who are being questioned by the police to lay low and call us first before you go to them, and we'll tell you what to say and how to handle it. The MMA fighter that was on the Scaling Up podcast, along with Doug Malo, said that is extremely dishonest and it's bullshit. Fuck all of you that said yes, sir. That is bullshit. Your brother nearly died in the ring and you are not being honest. And you are effectively interfering with a police investigation. Bullshit. I think that's just about everything. I don't think there's anything else to cover as far as the actual full story. Now that we got the initial reactions out of the way, we'll just kind of free flow this. If you guys want to ask questions, please go ahead and do so. You may do so. Super chats are encouraged if you want. However, instead of doing what I will say is instead of doing super chats, because I feel like any money we make from this video, I think it should go to fucking Syko Stew's GoFundMe anyway. So what I would prefer is if you all can go down in the link in all of our descriptions down below and donate to Syko Stew's GoFundMe for any legal fees and any medical bills that he may have. It's down below in every description. Go ahead and do that if you can. It is very, very needed. Any little bit helps, as far as I was told by my sources that are close to the situation. Please, please do what you can and help Syko Stew out, because every little bit helps when it comes to a situation like this, especially considering they haven't caught the fucker yet. So please go ahead and donate to the GoFundMe. And that's about it. Anything else you two want to add? And then we'll go to comments.
So I don't know how legitimate this is, but this is supposedly a thing.
That is fake.
Okay.
Yeah, don't even give it. Supposedly it's fake. I'm gonna say that because the wrestling promotion.
Okay, supposedly.
So
we're not for sure.
We're not for sure, but he's been then pulled. I think this was some troll job by this even more Bush League promotion, if you could believe there's anything more Bush League than Knox Pro.
Well, Knox Pro, to their credit, is not a Bush League promotion. They are a legitimate promotion. They were a WWE ID territory because of being owned and operated by Rikishi Fatu. Walter put in the private chat. I guess you didn't read it. I think the other person you're thinking about is Reno Anoi.
Reno and Hawaii, yes.
Black Pearl, not something
Black
wolf,
Pearl.
not the Fatu.
Yes.
That's not Rikishi.
You're right. Black Pearl. Black Pearl, yes.
So Black
Thank
Pearl was.
I apologize to anybody that's friends with him. I still think he's an idiot, but I know some people.
My question in all of this, because I never watched any of the videos, because honestly, I didn't care enough to, and I'm not trying to sound disrespectful, but it's stuff like this that gives the business a bad rep.
Yep.
And
100%.
I try not to dive too deep in that stuff, because even though to a certain degree I feel like I should be involved because I host Shenanigans and stuff like this needs to be addressed, I'm also a believer that we shouldn't address stuff until we have everything, which is why we're doing this today.
Because we have everything. Because it's an anomaly. It was streamed for the world to see.
But yeah, Nox Pro is not a Bush League promotion.
Fine, shoddy at best, but you're correct. You are correct.
Losing their ID sponsorship over this, while I understand taking it away, my question in all this is, where were Black Pearl and or Rikishi when all this was going on? And you said Rikishi wasn't there, he was out of town. Cool, that absolves him. Where was Black Pearl when all this was going on? Because in my mind, if you have a celebrity on site as part of your promotion, you should be with them at all times.
Yep. And he wasn't. And he was
so none of this should have even happened.
Yep.
If Black Pearl was
doing his fucking job. Yes. Yes.
Because wrestlers are going to be wrestlers. Boys are going to be boys.
Yep.
People are going to hype up and rile and pump up and inflate egos. And Black Pearl needed to be there to make that cease and desist right from the jump.
By the way, apologies, Charles. I completely forgot I said you can come in. I thought you were in our group chat, wasn't he?
I believe he's in the chaotic one, which is where I put the link for all this. So
yeah, I was about to say.
He had the opportunity to come if he wanted to.
Yeah, Charles.
I don't know why we're addressing that on the air, James.
Yeah, sorry.
Especially when I'm trying to give my thoughts on this.
Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
You completely bypassed me. Walter asked in the private chat, did JJ give his thoughts?
No, he's giving his thoughts now. You continue, by the way. I just felt bad about not having Charles.
He had the opportunity. I posted it in the chat. Said if anyone wants to come and discuss this, here's the link.
Yep. There it is.
I don't even remember where I was going with my point now, so move on.
The Black Pearl. You were on Black Pearl. You were saying.
I think I was going to say more because I had said that part. Move on.
He had said, I think you were gonna, and maybe this can jog a bit of memory, but yes, you're correct on the whole Black Pearl situation. I do want to point out Black Pearl was the one that even suggested the idea of turning this shoot into a work per se, to clear up that confusion as well, because I've been saying the Fatu not named Rikishi, that is Black Pearl. So there you go. AJ Massa, possibly. Did you want to give your thoughts on him? The one who was the other one who was encouraging Raja. Yeah, okay, fair dues. And Raja Jackson himself. Any thoughts on this lunatic?
as far as Raja goes, I don't know why there's still a quote unquote investigation. The entire incident is on film. I'm sure it's public knowledge where Raja and or Rampage live. There's no reason why the cops shouldn't have been at his home waiting to arrest him as soon as they got home for the event.
Mhm.
There's no reason that the cops shouldn't have showed up at the show and arrested him. So I don't know what the heck there's investigation going on for, except for it's LAPD. And they don't know how to do shit except for fuck with the wrong people.
Yep. People are
This should not be ongoing. He should at least be in police custody at this point.
Yep. There is
in prison awaiting trial.
There is a thing that people have said. It's mainly come from streamers, and they've said it many times, is fatigue. And now it seems like wrestlers and MMA guys are even using that fatigue over assaults like this happening on the regular. They are fatigued of this shit. When something is so clear cut and fucking dry and you still do nothing is where you lose me. And where you lose a lot of fucking people. Thank you, good sir. I think that's just about everything. Yeah, we've already shilled Syko Stu. I think we're all in agreement that we wish the fucking best for him. Walter, is there anything you want to add to this fucking nonsense that happened that really shouldn't have happened?
I hope justice prevails for Stu. That's all.
Me too. All right, I turn the reins over to you. Let's get some questions going. I'm sure there's plenty of them.
Honestly, I don't see that many popping up in here. There was one from Nathan saying, what do you think will happen to Rikishi's Academy from here on out? If whomever is directing talent not to say anything, shut the whole thing down until the investigation is cleared.
Yep.
The only problem I foresee with that is the fact that indie wrestling promotions only stay afloat by running shows.
Yeah.
And LAPD is so fucked that you never know how long their investigation is going to last. I mean, hell, the investigation is still ongoing in the deaths of Biggie and Tupac, which were almost 30 years ago.
What? Okay.
So an independent promotion like Knox Pro cannot survive, being shut down like that. And it's not fair to the other workers.
Yes.
To be, essentially unemployed for that long.
Yeah.
Now, yes, they can seek employment at other federations. A good indie worker is getting booked every weekend somewhere. But if these guys are, for better term, trainees and not full-fledged workers yet, that poses an issue. Then there's also, if these kids are trainees and not full-fledged workers, what happens to the money that they put out for training if the place is shut down and they can't receive their training?
Yeah.
Because a lot of facilities ask for monthly or 6 months in advance, a good chunk so that they can keep their venue running, their training facility running, the AC on, the water on, the power on.
Yep.
And if these people are essentially, I'll compare it to reality of wrestling. If they're at school and they're not fully trained and the only shows they put on are in-house, that's money that the trainees are out as well. So I don't know about that.
Yeah.
There's bad apples in every bunch, Charles. I don't think people are going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to work with anybody from Nox Pro because of what happened." I think people will say, "Oh, well, I don't want to work with AJ Massa because of what happened."
Hell no.
But if Syko Stu were to make a full recovery and go back out on the scene, he's getting booked everywhere as the ultimate babyface.
Yep.
He's getting every booking that can get thrown at him. And I don't know about any other people involved in this.
I hope he doesn't like playing the heel because he could never be a heel again for the rest of his life.
Nope. I think he was a heel, by the way.
And sadly, I think Daniel is spot on here, depending on how much longer Dark Side can continue to go, because you got to figure they're running out of topics. But depending on how much longer that series could go, 2-3 years down the road, we could very much be seeing a Syko Stu incident on an episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point to that, JJ,
which is bad.
Yeah, and to your point to that also, JJ, like another thing that we didn't even consider as well is, like, unfortunately, there has been precedent that is set, and even more so than I even thought of when I first brought this topic up on TISM, with the fucking New Jack shit. Like, when you really think about it,
Talking about the mass transit.
Not just the mass transit, but the dude he stabbed and he got away with attempted murder because he carnied the dude to drop the charges, despite it being obvious that he was trying to kill him in the ring. And they just, he dropped the charges, so whatever. And then, the fucking him trying to kill Vic Grimes and XPW and all this shit, like the fucking Gypsy Joe shit. Like, we set precedent with New Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in a WWE video game.
Yep.
So why wouldn't Raja think he couldn't fucking get away with this shit when this fucking guy was able to fucking do all the shit he did and still end up in a WWE video game immortalized forever in the annals of wrestling history for absolutely the worst, in my opinion, especially with this shit happening.
The difference is that, one, New Jack was a professionally trained wrestler. Raja is not.
Yeah.
So right there, he had no business in the ring.
For sure.
And you can counter argue me about some of the celebrities in wrestling, but they go and they rehearse and they practice before they get in for their celebrity match. None of that occurred before this.
Sure.
Second of all, New Jack, Jerome Young, was taken to court and was found not guilty.
Yeah.
So if he's found not guilty, there's nothing that can be done about it.
Yeah.
So why should he be punished and not be allowed to be in a WWE video game after his passing?
No, I get you. I get you.
Whereas this guy, it's clear as day that he's guilty.
You're right. You're right.
Video evidence on top of video evidence on top of eyewitnesses on top of video evidence.
Right.
Therein lies the two major differences.
And to your point, though, I think the reason I brought up the New Jack stuff, specifically the stabbing, was also on video. Like, clear as day. It wasn't in 4K. It was 240p. But he definitely was stabbing him, right?
But again, if you're speaking about the mass transit incident, mass transit completely misrepresented himself.
He did. Yes, I agree with that. I'm saying, no, there was a different stabbing incident involving New Jack. I just can't remember.
Okay, was it a match?
Yes.
There you go. Liability free. By stepping into the ring, you consent to the spots that are discussed. The promotion is not liable. The two wrestlers are supposed to work it all out. New Jack is a hardcore wrestler. Whoever that was that got in the ring with him knew exactly what was coming.
I can't say it like that because I think he was expecting.
It is what it is, though.
I hear that.
It's consent.
They consented to a point, but I don't think he consented to being stabbed in the kidney.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, he consented to being stabbed in the head and like sliced in the arm to make it look like a cut job, but he wasn't actually supposed to be full on stabbed. And they said like he stabbed him 17. The victim said that New Jack stabbed him 17 times. He actually stabbed him 9. Videos on there, you could see it for yourself. It was gross. I'm very positive about that. I mean, the idiot dropped the charges because he got worked by New Jack to drop the charges because he's like, well, I want to let's try and turn this into an angle. Which, I mean,
that's his stupidity.
That was, yeah, exactly.
Again,
my point being is precedent was still set, and you're right, trained professional compared to Raja, who wasn't. I'm just saying, man was precedent set here because if he can get away with this shit, what's stopping Raja is my point. Not saying that was the only contributing factor, and it does not fucking absolve Raja in any way, and he's a piece of shit. But
I think part of it is that Raja feels he's the son of a celebrity and a celebrity in his own right, and he's going to get, and that's the bigger lying issue than anything else here.
100%, yes. I'm saying there's multiple
if
factors.
you, me, or Walter did what Raja did, there would be no investigation pending.
Yeah, we'd be in jail, and rightfully so.
And that's where he needs to be.
Yep. Let's see here. I know plenty of people have said some stuff. You know what? I will say, even though this isn't a question, I agree with DJ here. Douglas Marlowe.
I already brought that up.
Yeah, but
I on the screen.
That's fair. I do want to bring it up again because I agree with that. Straight up, greatest babyface ever. Like, honestly, just the professionalism and the restraint that Doug Marlowe, Marlowe, I think it's Marlowe, by the way, DJ, showed in that instance. I don't know how you don't sign a guy like this. AEW, WWE, whoever. Like, sign him, get him paid. He deserves it after this shit. Because and the funny thing is, I bet you, like, at least 90% of that check is probably going to go to Syko's fucking GoFundMe. Because he's that much of a stand-up guy, man. Like, such a great
and shout
person.
out to Chris Jericho, who I believe donated $2,500.
Shout out Mr. Beast, who donated fucking $10K as well. Like, it's crazy the amount of people that have donated to his fund, man. Like MMA, streamers, pro wrestlers, promoters, you name it. Civilians, really, I'm sure U.S. Army veterans are in there somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, man, I hope that continues to grow. And as certain people told me, my sources told me, any little bit helps the situation. So let's hope for the best, man. It's a fucking nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare, man. Like as Walter said at the top of the fucking program, man, we shouldn't even have to be talking about this. This shouldn't have even been a topic for Shenanigans last night. Shouldn't have even been a topic for today. This was such a shitty thing to happen. Like, this never should have gotten out of hand like this. And there were so many measures that could have been done to prevent it from happening, and precisely none of them were taken. And I hope everybody involved in that situation, chief among them, Raja Jackson, faces the fucking consequences for what they did. Anything else anybody wants to say before we just get the hell out of here?
I'm good, Walter.
I'm good. I don't want to keep giving it any more light than we have to.
Exactly. This will be the last time it is brought up. Thank you all for tuning in. The only thing we'll really promote is not any of our stuff. You already saw that at the top of the program with all the watch-alongs we got coming up. Syko Stew's GoFundMe description. Please go donate to it. Any little bit will help if you can. We'll see you next week on Saturday for, God willing, hopefully a more lighthearted topic going forward as the week progresses, and hopefully we can move past this nightmare once and for all. Raja, rot in a fucking jail cell.